Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No.
I like what Dom's doing.
Okay. Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Izzo.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV in Sioux Falls, KNBN in Rapid City. Hello to everybody in South Dakota. Also streaming on Inform.com. We're here. We made it. Finally Friday. End of the work week coming your way. Appreciate you for joining us. It is oddly too quiet around the station today. I think everybody's in their summer vacation mode. Once again, good morning. Sam Getzinger filling in for Dom Izzo today. Happy to be back in the big chair. Long time no see. Got a glimpse yesterday. Some fun topics we were talking about on the show yesterday. Got a lot of great stuff planned on today heading into the weekend. Actually, a fun weekend for all of us here at the station. Our group, our live production crew, we're going to head down to the cities and go to the Minnesota Twins game. So Dom and the fam are there a little early, enjoying everything that the Twin Cities has to offer. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't been to a Twins game in couple years now. I just don't think my schedule is really allowed for it. Now we have the opportunity to do this, and I'm excited. The Twins are okay. I think that's the best way to describe it. They're playing all right. Exceeding my expectations, that's for sure. We'll have a full Twins update coming up later on this morning. Cory Provus will join us as he does each and every Friday morning. Looking forward to catching up with him. Had the last series off against Cleveland. They had the all-analyst broadcast with all the guys. That was fun to listen to for a little bit, but now Cory is back in the booth this weekend, and he will join us on the show this morning and get us a full Twins update. We'll recap the game that happened yesterday in just a little bit. We're talking a lot of baseball today as well, not just with the Twins. Coming up to start our second hour of the show, we're going to have West Fargo Cheyenne rising star Jake Dangerud. He will join us at 10 o'clock. He was recently selected to play for Team Minnesota in the 2026 Future Games, which is down in Atlanta. Big recruiting potential there for a guy like Jake, who is one of the top players in his age bracket heading into his junior season at West Fargo Cheyenne. So we'll get the full glimpse as to what the Future Games is, what Jake has been up to, his thoughts on West Fargo Cheyenne and the state tournament this last year, and also get his update on West Fargo Legion baseball as well. So he will join us coming up in about an hour or so. Now, before you ask, and I know I talked about it on the show yesterday with Dom, the college football video game is officially out for everybody. The deluxe edition came out earlier. Now the standard edition is out. No, I was not up all night playing the video game. Eric was. He'll tell us about that a little bit later on. We're going to talk more about this video game in the second hour of the show to help wrap up the week today. Got a special guest planned who's more of an expert on this stuff than anybody I know. So I'm looking forward to that coming up at 10:30. We'll let you know who that is in just a little bit. So all that's coming up. Again, appreciate you for joining us on this Friday morning. Let's try to wrap up the week on a high note. So before we get to all that, let's recap what happened last night. Minnesota Twins in action against the Cleveland Guardians, trying to go for the sweep. They took Game 1 by a score of 3-1. They took Game 2 in exciting fashion, 6-5. But yesterday, Cleveland, they came ready. We picked things up in the top of the second. Gabriel Arias, a solo homer to left center off of Bailey Ober, who made his return off of the injured list. That home run would put Cleveland up 1-0. We go to the top of the seventh now, a 2-1 game with Cleveland in the lead. Ryan Rocchio hits a double to left. 2 runs come in to score. Cleveland takes a 4-1 advantage late in the ball game. But Minnesota would respond in the bottom of the 7th. Royce Lewis, a solo shot off of Gavin Williams. That would put the Twins down 4-2. Always great to see Royce Lewis get that pop in the bat back a little bit. Good swing. Reached the second deck at Target Field as well. So Royce Lewis makes it a 4-2 game. Then we go to the 9th. Patrick Bailey at the plate for Cleveland. Woo Suck-Go making his major league debut on the mound. It was all right, but he did give up this home run. And eventually Cleveland would hold on to win 5-2, the final score. Twins would not get the series sweep against their divisional foe, but to win 2 out of 3 at this point in the year, that's pretty solid. Gavin Williams for Cleveland was solid. 7 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts in the game. Only gave up 3 hits, those 2 earned runs, and 1 walk as well. Bailey Ober in his first game back off of the injured list. 5 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, 3 hits, and just the 1 run given up on the home run. Royce Lewis 2 for 4 with that homer as well. So the Minnesota Twins, as we sit right now, 46-48 on July 10th. Approaching the All-Star break, trade deadline coming up around the corner as well. So with the Twins and that record, honestly not sitting in the worst spot in the world. The divisional leaders right now, Chicago and Cleveland, they're split in the AL Central. Minnesota is just 2 games back of the Central. 46-48, 2 games below 500. Now in the wild card race, which is heating up, they're right in the hunt. They're in the mix, which is great to hear because at the beginning of the year, I had no expectations that they would be at this point. They're 1 game back of the Seattle Mariners in that 6th spot of the wild card. And as you see, the Mariners are 500. Now, Minnesota coming up this weekend has a good chance to bounce back and approach that 500 mark because the Los Angeles Angels are horrible. That's a fair assessment to say. The Angels are not good at all. I'll find them here in their standings. They're dead last in the West, 10.5 games back out of first place. They're 37-57 on the season. So when you look at the Twins and whatever happens throughout the year, at least you can step back in this point in time and say, hey, it could be worse. We could be Angels fans. But luckily, the Twins are playing all right. So Twins open up the series with the Angels coming up. Again, we get a full recap with Cory Provus of the Cleveland series and a preview of this Angels series coming up at the bottom of the hour. So the win streak after the Twins got a couple down here over, I should say, in New York. They got a couple of wins there, got a couple against Cleveland. They had a win streak going. It stops at 4. Twins open up that series against Los Angeles today against against Grayson Rodriguez, and Zebby Matthews gets the start for the Twins as well. Been a big fan of Zebby Matthews as of late, has put together a solid stretch over the last couple of months. So, more Twins talk coming up. Be sure to stick around for that. Now, also happening yesterday for everybody that wants to get pretty in the weeds or is a diehard basketball fan is the NBA Summer League officially kicked off yesterday. The off-season exhibition tournament, if you're not familiar with it. It's an opportunity where rookies, second-year players, G League prospects, they all compete and they try to get their name out there, whether it's within their organization or within another team. Just try to make a name and see if they can get a contract for the upcoming season, whether it is a professional NBA contract or a G League contract, whatever it may be. Good opportunity for some young guys. I've always enjoyed the Summer League. I don't follow it too closely, but I'm a fan to turn it on here and there. There's some interesting rules with the Summer League that I want to get into in just a little bit, but it's especially a good chance for guys that come out of our area, an opportunity for them to make a name for themselves even more than they already have and try to impress these execs to get themselves a contract. Case in point, Jackson Money and Trayson Eaglestaff. who are on Summer League rosters this season. So it's a good opportunity for them to try to make some waves. Now, yesterday, the Minnesota Timberwolves sent their crew of rookies, second-year players, and also some G League prospects out to the Summer League, and they had their first game of this off-season exhibition tournament. They were taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. And one name you should get used to is Sheyenne Beranger. The big man gets an easy 2 to open up the game. That would put Minnesota on the board first, but then they ran into Kobe Buffkin. Who is Kobe Buffkin? I'm not 100% sure, but yesterday looked a lot like Kobe Bryant. Had a 4-point play and now another 4-point play. Buffkin went off. 30 points for the Pelicans to lead the way. If you want to make a statement, that is the way to do it. Now, Beranger gets the block and coming the other way later in the game in the third quarter. This is Zion Poland, races down the floor for the lay-in. Poland had a solid game as well. 24 points for him for the Minnesota Timberwolves as he finishes there at the rack. Tough. 3-point deficit late in the third, but now we fast forward midway through the fourth. That's Buffkin again knocking down the 3 to make it an 11-point game. Minnesota would dominate the final 2 quarters and come away with the win. 105-92. They are 1-0 in the Summer League. Timberwolves fans rejoice. Good sign there. In total, 5 guys in double-digit scoring yesterday for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you can look into the Summer League as much as you want. Sheyenne Beranger, 18 points, 11 rebounds. That's a solid day. Zion Poland, impressive. A near triple-double. 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 12 assists. Take that any day of the week. Nate Santos with 20 points and 2 rebounds as well. And as you see on the other side, Kobe Buffkin with those 30 points. Now, I had to do some digging because I had no idea who Zion Poland was. And forgive me for not following along with the Iowa Wolves as much as I do. He's currently on a 2-way deal, and he's expected to spend most of this upcoming season with the Iowa Wolves. Now, I'm curious to see, is that a guy that makes a run in the mix here? But definitely want to keep a lookout on Beranger and see what he can do and develop, because definitely size for the Minnesota Twins, especially in the depth position, is going to be very, very interesting as we get closer to the preseason, regular season, right around the corner. It's going to be here before you know it. I know I say that and the season just ended, but things tend to work pretty quick. So hopefully Beranger can keep stringing together some good performances and be a big part of the Minnesota Timberwolves this upcoming season. Now, I just looked this morning because I wanted to see if there was any LeBron James update at all in the offseason. It sounds like from Shams over at ESPN that Minnesota is still in the loop. And as of right now, LeBron James is fielding voice messages through his agent from interested teams. And that is, if you haven't been following along, the Heat, the Cavs, the 76ers, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I'm not 100% sure what the Timberwolves have to offer salary cap-wise. That's a little over my head. But if they're able to get the deal done, that would be fantastic. Now, earlier I mentioned Trayson Eaglestaff and Jackson Money. This is a big couple of weeks for them to try to get their name out there. Of course, Eaglestaff out of Bismarck, Money out of the metro area here and played at North Dakota State. Eaglestaff played at UND before transferring on. Those two are on Summer League rosters right now. Money is on the Golden State Summer League team. He did not play yesterday. Golden State did win yesterday, but he did not play due to a coach's decision. So hopefully he's able to get on the floor at some point. Golden State won by 11, 101-90. Trayson Eaglestaff, on the other hand, he's on the Knicks Summer League team. And, you know, there's worse Summer League teams to be on. It might be a tough go for Trayson Eaglestaff to break onto that championship roster, but they have seen some changes in the offseason already. They play tomorrow. Eaglestaff and the Knicks Summer League team play tomorrow against Brooklyn. If you're interested in watching that, they're going to play at 5 o'clock on Prime Video. All of these Summer League games are on Amazon Prime and the networks of ESPN. Timberwolves play again tomorrow as well, 6:30 against Denver on Prime if you're looking to watch some basketball. Now, I was tuned in a little bit yesterday. I was catching the Atlanta Hawks Summer League action, which I know I'm sure millions others were doing the same. And I always forget that they implement some new rules into the Summer League, and I was watching it, and I was stunned. I'll list them off here in a second, but some of them are a little jarring to me. Now, first of all, the big rule that they're implementing into the Summer League is that it's a shortened game. As opposed to 4 12-minute quarters, it's 4 10-minute quarters, which honestly I am not opposed to. As you can see, the scoring and the stat lines and the scores from teams, there's still over 100. There's still plenty of that. There's still no defense being played in the NBA, so I wouldn't mind, speeding this up a little bit. So that is one rule. The one rule that kind of jarred me a little bit is what they're doing with their free throws. Just one free throw opportunity per shooting foul or bonus opportunity. So how that works is, as you saw Kobe Buffkin, this is not a good example, but let's say as you saw in the video there, Kobe Buffkin gets fouled on the 3 and he doesn't make it. It's not a 4-point play. Usually you get 3 opportunities at the free throw line. Well, now in the Summer League, you get 1 opportunity, and if you make it, 3 points. If you miss it, nothing. That's a little outlandish in my opinion. I know we're all here to try to keep the pace of the game flowing. I get that, but I mean that's a little jarring. We've been doing this thing since the invention of basketball. Why are we changing it up now? And of course they're doing this to see if it works and potentially down the road see if they can get it into the NBA ranks or not. It's the same deal with a foul, and usually you would get 2 shots at the line. That's not the case anymore. You get 1, and if you miss it, you don't get anything. If you make it, you get 2 points. I don't know. Maybe that's just I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm still trying to wrap my head around on if it's a good idea. I think if you get fouled on a 3-point shot, I think it should be, I don't know, more than a 50-50 shot on if you get 3 points or not. Even if you go to the line and if you get 1 or 2, I mean, that's still better than getting nothing. And also, there's smart fouls that you can take if you're down late in a game and you can foul and their free throws are not going to push them. Does that eliminate that aspect of the game? I'm not 100% sure. Other rules they're implementing in the Summer League, if tied after 4 quarters, it's a 2-minute overtime period. That is what it is. And the one thing that's interesting to me is I was watching the games late last night, the fouls in the Summer League. So in case you're going to watch the Timberwolves tomorrow, just be ready for this. A player fouls out after 10 personal fouls. That is quite a bit. I saw somebody last night had 9, which is a ridiculous amount. Now, that limit will drop in the semis and championship back down to 6, the usual number. But to have 10 fouls, that's quite a bit. Going back to the free throws, because this just hit me, I feel like as opposed to having it be a one-and-done situation and fixing it on that end after the foul is called, maybe we focus more on what is a foul and what is not a foul. And maybe make the decision on if we eat the whistle a little bit more. That's just my 2 cents on that. Maybe we need to look at that part more as opposed to looking at the one-and-done situation of the free throw. Maybe I'm completely in the minority in that category. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on if you like the one-and-done free throw situation that they're trying out in the NBA. All right. Just getting rolling here on a Friday morning. Let's step aside. When we come back, we'll get you a World Cup update. We now have a team in the semis, so we'll give you the highlights last night of what France was able to do against Morocco. Also, some other topics going on we'll touch on throughout the morning. And, of course, at the bottom of the hour, Cory Provus will join us at 9:30. That's coming up when we come back on Hot Mic. I got a little ahead of myself to start the morning before going to break. Forgot to let you know our guest lineup for today, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. As I mentioned, in about 10 minutes or so, Cory Provus will join us, the voice of the Minnesota Twins on Twins TV. Get a full update on the Twinkies as they get ready for their weekend series against the Angels. Also at 10 o'clock today, Jake Dangerud will join us, the junior out of West Fargo, Cheyenne. He will join us from Rapid City, where he's competing right now, but he's also been named to the Team Minnesota roster for the 2026 future games in Atlanta. We'll get the full rundown of that to start the second hour. Also at 10:35, Austin Clokus. He is an NFL and college football content creator. He will join us at 10:35. He is partnering up with North Dakota State as NDSU is in the game, the College Football 27 video game. So we will get Austin's thoughts on the game and on North Dakota State being in the game as well. So that's coming up at 10:35. All right, before we get to Cory Provus joining us in just a little bit, wanted to give you an update on the World Cup. We now have a team in the semifinal round. Quarterfinal started yesterday with France and Morocco, and here is what happened. And again, I always have to give my disclaimer. Bear with me as we go through the highlights. I'm going to do my best to say all the names correctly. We pick it up in the 25th minute. This is Mbappe with the ball. Nusir Mazraoui trying to take it away, but Mbappe goes down instead. So after a VAR check, we go to a penalty kick, and Mbappe is stuffed by Yassine Bounou. Now, Bounou has stopped 4 penalty shots in the World Cup. That is the most in FIFA World Cup history. Pretty impressive. As we go to the 60th minute, Mbappe, one of the greatest stars in the world in the game they call football, not going to miss that time. Able to get a good strike there from the 18 and make it a 1-0 lead for France. And then 6 minutes later, Ousmane Dembele keeps it, and Dembele gets the shot and the goal to beat on the right side. And France punches their ticket to the World Cup semifinals with their win over Morocco 2-0. That happened yesterday. I've been a fan. I have been a fan of the World Cup. Here's a look at the updated bracket. France awaits the winner of Spain and Belgium. They play today, 2 o'clock on Fox in SoFi Stadium in California. And then on Saturday, we have the other 2 quarterfinal games between Norway and England, which I know a lot of people around these neck of the woods are excited for Norway. 4 o'clock start time for that on Fox. And then at 8 o'clock, it's Argentina and Switzerland on Fox as well. Like I said, I've been a fan of the World Cup. I watched the USA-Belgium game. I watched it from wire to wire, despite them being down. And for those of you that know me, that you know that I am not professional soccer rube by any stretch of the imagination. I don't go out of my way to watch it. I always, in my head, okay, it's too long. There's not enough scoring. There's too much embellishment. But I watched the game, and I thought it moved quickly, quicker than I expected it to. There has been scoring in this World Cup. There has been some close games. The stars have been performing. Now, I say that, and there's been some controversy on the United States side with their stars but not really performing. Christian Pulisic being one of them. Of course, it was announced the other day that he actually suffered a leg microfracture and will miss several weeks because of that. Carly Lloyd was the one who went out, and good on her for not being afraid to express her opinion and calling out Christian Pulisic, because it wasn't just in that game that he wasn't really a major factor, and obviously went out because of the injury. I mean, it's been the whole World Cup. In my non-expert opinion, Christian Pulisic just. If he's supposed to be the star, you would expect him to do what Mbappe or Messi. I know that's a big leap to go from those two to Pulisic, but you get the sense of where I'm going at there. To play a little bit better, exceed expectations when the stage is brightest, especially in the biggest soccer matchup in the country's history. But like I said, I've been a fan. Now I'm curious as to are USA fans going to continue to watch the World Cup throughout the the next couple of weeks here as we get ready for the final, despite USCA being out. I think the casual fan has probably dropped off. I for sure will watch the championship. I don't know how invested I am in the rest of the quarters or the semis. But who knows? If it's on and I'm not doing anything, I may watch it. But I'm sure the casual U.S. fan may be not so interested. I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on that as well. Now, one thing I did notice, and I'm going to totally contradict myself on what I said in the last segment about the NBA Summer League free throws and how maybe we shouldn't tinker that because we've done that forever where it's been normal. I'm jumping on the boat of maybe we should stop the clock here in the game of soccer and eliminate the extra time or added time or whatever it's called. I know it's been going. Who am I to walk in here and say, hey, you guys should start thinking about stopping the clock and maybe reworking the red card situation because a full game down a guy with just one red card early, that doesn't seem quite fair. But who am I to say? Those are just my opinions. But if I had to jump in a boat, I would say, yes, stop the clock, and let's think about the red cards a little bit here because I think those could be reworked. I get confused. As a casual fan of soccer, I get confused. When 90 minutes are up, and then all of a sudden 7 more minutes pop up. Who's doing the math on that? And how do the players know? How does anybody know? I know there's a guy with a board, but how often are they looking at that? I don't know. That's just me. And again, who am I to walk in here and say, hey, we should change everything going on with the game of soccer? And I know it contradicts what I said about the Summer League, but I think there's plenty others in the same boat as me there that say maybe we should consider stopping the clock. But those are the games coming up. Spain and Belgium today, Norway and England tomorrow, Argentina and Switzerland tomorrow as well. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're chatting about the Minnesota Twins. We'll get an update from our guy, Cory Provus, who joins us each and every Friday. Twins got a series against the Angels coming up. Cory will join us on the other side of the break.
Deep to left center field. Back it goes and gone. The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging at 101. Swinging a drive. Left field and deep. Back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
Here he is, the voice of the Minnesota Twins on Twins TV. Cory Provus joining us on this Friday morning as he does each and every week. Cory, I appreciate you taking some time and hopping on today. I know you're coming fresh off of some well-deserved time off and now getting ready for the weekend. So it's great to see you, man.
You too, Sam. Yeah, happy to be here. And so we I don't get much of a chance to do the Minnesota, lake life cabin experience. Mm-hmm. So these last few days, it's become an annual thing. We go away with 4 families. We go up to Nisswa and Brainerd and just have the best time out on Gull Lake and the surrounding area over there. So we had a great time. Followed the team a little bit. Yeah. Did not see much of the games, but followed along a little bit here and there. And it sounded like the boys had a blast, which was the goal of the entire idea with the Analyst Series. And I'm glad that people received it quite well.
Well, I was going to ask about that, if you caught any of them. I saw some of the games, and I caught some clips as well. It seemed like those guys, Justin Morneau, Trevor Plouffe, and Denard Span and Glenn Perkins, they were just out there. They're having fun. And it's a long season. It's good to break it up a little bit, isn't it?
It's not football. It's not do or die every Sunday. It's if you lose – when I was doing college football all those years when I was in Blacksburg, if Virginia Tech lost a football game, the whole town was in mourning for like 5 days. It's not that. It's baseball. It's fun. It's casual. Yes, it's serious, and you want to take it seriously, and it's a sport. But you know what? There's a game the next day, and if they lose, they lose, and they get back at the next day and try again. And so I think it's important for 162 of them. I think it breaks up the monotony and the redundancy of just play-by-play, and here's your standard game. So, I think the guys, were perfect. It's a perfect fit. 4 good friends, former teammates, guys that are not too far removed from playing that left a big impression around Twins territory. And I think that resonates well with the fan base.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It was great to hear them, and it's going to be great to hear you back in the booth with the Angels coming into town. That series starting today. Now, you mentioned you didn't watch all of the games, but while you were out enjoying vacation and you were peeking at this series against Cleveland, do you have any takeaways after getting the series win?
You know, looking at the 6 games so far this season, the Twins have won 4 out of 6. And, Sam, they've been able to win in ways where Cleveland was always on the other side of that.
Mm-hmm.
Where in past years, these close games have seemed to always favor the Guardians more than the Twins. So winning some 1-run, 2-run games, even walk-off, wins against the Guardians, that's been easier said than done. They did it last year with Cody Clemens, and now they did it this year with Alan Rodin. But winning close games against Cleveland has not been easy. Going back to, heck, even, Tito and then certainly Stephen Vogt, it hasn't come easily to beat this team. So that, to me, has been a takeaway, is that the Twins are holding their own and then some in these close games against a division rival.
Well, when we look at where the Twins are at right now, 2 games below 500, 46 and 48. They've won 7 out of their last 10. They're now in the divisional race, and they're in the wild card race as well. Would you say it's a fair assessment that they're exceeding the expectations that fans had at the beginning of the season right now?
100%. I think that that's absolutely fair. Now, they may argue in the clubhouse, and I hope they do, that we felt we could win and compete all along. But, yeah, I mean, all the external prognosticators thought this team would win about 70 games, 72 games, and finish either at or near the bottom in the AL Central. And I get where they were coming from based on how last year ended and the lack of movement that they made this offseason to really improve the team. This was going to be one of those years where you're just hoping that many of these high drafted, homegrown, talented players took that big step forward. And it's something that, every organization says, we're hoping that this guy just gets better. This guy gets better. And there wasn't much evidence to say, well, is that really going to happen? I mean, we've been hoping that for a couple of years and it hasn't happened. Well, this year it has. I mean, Trevor Larnach's been better. Brooks Lee's been better. Royce Lewis looks better playing first base than he did playing third base. Luke Keyshaw looking better in the outfield than he did at second base. I think the Twins are going to get Ryan Jeffers back, hopefully tonight, which is great news. But Josh Bell and Victor Caratini, after very poor starts, had great months of June. And a big reason why the Twins are back being a contending team and a relevant team, once again, they had a winning month of June, is because of what they have received from their 2 veteran free agent acquisitions in Caratini and Bell.
Tell us about Josh Bell. What have you seen from him throughout the season that has impressed you?
I think he is not at all scared or in fear of batting in the clutch. I think he welcomes and savors that opportunity every chance it comes around. He's been phenomenal with runners in scoring position, especially 2 outs and runners in scoring position. And that's the stat the Twins, maybe you're expecting some regression here, and I think there will be some. But, man, the Twins have been at the top now for a while as a team, hitting with runners in scoring position. And what Josh Bell is doing and has done for the better part of this season is a big reason why they've been so good in that vital category.
Absolutely. I want to touch on some more players in just a second, but first I wanted to ask you, we're at this point. You have the All-Star break looming, deadline coming up as well, baseball in July. How crucial is it to be playing as well as the Twins have in July? Can you tell us about this point of the year?
Well, we can go back to a year ago and how the Twins fell flat that first road trip out of the All-Star break. And to me, losing 2 out of 3 in Colorado. Remember, the Rockies, up until that first series out of the break last year, had yet to win a home series all year. All year. They had not won a home series. And then the Twins lost 2 out of 3 there and lost 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium, including that heartbreaking game, that last game. Freddie Freeman, that walk-off hit to left field. It looked like Mookie Betts went around, would have ended the game. And that, to me, was the beginning of the end, that they just fell flat because they were, I think, a game under 500, if memory serves, entering that Rocky series and then, going 2-4 and then coming home, losing a series to Washington, losing a series to the Red Sox at home, and that was it. So I think that, to your point, now the trade deadline is not until early August this year. So there is a little bit more, of a gap between decisions and the All-Star break than maybe there was in the past. But I think it's important because what the Twins do, I think this weekend is big. They're 2 games under 500. They're playing the worst team in baseball. And the Angels especially have struggled on the road. They're 16-32 on the road. So this is right there for them to be, maybe above 500 for this team at the All-Star break. And who would have said that, back in early May and, late May with how things were going, that this team is a contending team. And now let's keep it going at minimum, win the series. And then you're a game under heading to the break. But, man, to take all 3 would be massive, massive.
No doubt.
For this team. And they see a hot Cubs team. That first series out of the break is against a very good, kind of an up-and-down Cubs team, but they're playing well right now.
It's going to be interesting. Again, the Twins take on the Angels. That series starts tonight at 7 o'clock. You can catch all the action on Twins TV. The pitching staff I'm curious about, and, of course, there's a couple guys I wanted to ask you about and get an update on them. The other day we saw Bailey Ober come back, his return from the IL. Solid outing, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, just gave up the 1 run. What can you say about Bailey being back in the rotation?
We were following the game on the radio. We're listening to Chris and Danny yesterday. It sounded like, outside of the home run that he allowed to Arias, it wasn't much in terms of hard contact. And that's Bailey's game. He's not going to be a guy that's going to strike out 10 guys too often. It may happen from time to time, but for Bailey, for him, he's got to keep the ball off the barrel. I mean, he's got to be able to find a way to minimize hard contact, and it sounded like he did that yesterday. And he kept his team in the game before things got away from it. I think that's a big step forward. I think that was looking at the stat line with Bailey. I think he should be happy with that. I think the Twins should be happy with that in his first start back in a couple of months.
Connor Prelip is another one. Of course, you get Ober back, and now Prelip is on the injured list after his start on Wednesday. Have you heard an update on him, and what's the severity of his injury?
It sounds like it's a blister issue that popped up on his finger, on his pitching hand. And when I saw the news that Prelip was going to go on the IL, I'm like, oh, is his shoulder, is his elbow? And I feel okay that it's blister driven because I think the timing is perfect. He wasn't going to start again before the All-Star break. Then he'll get the break. And then, probably not, I don't think he'll factor in that Cubs series, but then maybe Cleveland is when he comes back around. And again, for him, they're watching his workload immensely for a guy that hasn't thrown very much in his pro career, even college career, with all the injuries that he's suffered. So in some ways, I think this is coming at a good time for him to kind of get the finger right, but also reset the body, reset the mind, and then how they get this young man to the finish line, Sam, is going to be fascinating. That's its own story. I mean, is he going to go 110, 120 innings? That's a lot for a guy that threw just 88 last year. So I think 100, 110 is kind of what I have in my mind. But we'll see how it goes. That certainly is a big storyline here for Prelip here in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. He's promising in the outings that he's had, especially recently. Again, Cory Provus, the voice of the Minnesota Twins on Twins TV, joining us. Let's break. When we come back, I got some more guys I want to ask about, and, of course, a preview of the Angels series coming up starting tonight and going throughout the weekend. More with Cory Provus when we come back on Hot Mic. Welcome back on this Friday morning edition of Hot Mic. Sam Getzinger filling in for Dom Izzo. Appreciate you for joining us on WDAY Extra. A couple of more minutes left with the voice of the Minnesota Twins, Cory Provus on Twins TV. A couple other guys I wanted to ask you about. You mentioned Ryan Jeffers, and it sounds like he may be able to make his return tonight. Of course, he's a guy that Twins fans are kind of curious on what his future will be with the trade deadline coming up in early August. How big of a relief is it to have Jeffers back in the lineup as of right now?
I think it's huge because of how well he was playing. But, I mean, tip your cap to the tandem of Victor Caratini and Alex Jackson, how well they played in his absence, because I thought that was a huge loss for the Twins. And it was a big loss. And I think the way that the guys were stumbling in May offensively and even defensively, Jeffers' absence was notable, and you felt it and saw it certainly there during some rough patches in June. But it's a really commendable. Even beyond that, that's not even being, I think, accurate. Applaud the effort that the Twins received from Caratini and Jackson and Ryan Jeffers' absence. So, he was playing great. I think the Yankees especially are going to be watching Ryan Jeffers play very closely here this weekend and out of the All-Star break, because just being in New York last weekend, Sam, it's obvious what they want and what they desire, and that is a right-handed hitting catcher, and certainly Ryan Jeffers is at the top of their desirable list in terms of adding to their team at the trade deadline.
Can you put this into perspective a little bit, knowing at this point into the year, and guys have an idea, I would imagine that, they may be moved or maybe not. Is the next stretch here an opportunity for these guys to kind of showcase a little bit more what they can do? Does that make any sense at all?
But I always liked Gardy's take on that. I thought Gardy had a really good approach when asked that question, Sam, and he was like, it'd be flattering.
Yeah.
If your name is coming up in around rumors and in the rumor mill that you may be going here, you may be going there, that's because, A, you're a good player.
Right.
Winning teams want to add you. That they view you as a missing piece, maybe the missing piece that could take us from a contender to a potential pennant-winning, World Series-winning team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just thought Gardy nailed it. I think that's a really good way to say it, a good way to look at it. Yes, there's a family dynamic to it, that your life gets uprooted, and that could be tough on your spouse, on your kids. All of a sudden, you're lifted from this area and this team and this community that you've known and grown up with. But you also understand where you're at in the business world, and you're not with a team forever unless you choose to be so, unless the team wants you to be so. So there is that business component to it, which is impacting not just Jeffers, but maybe Joe Ryan and other guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
That contending teams look at it and say, like, hey, this is the piece we want. Let's go out and get it. At this time last year, chatting with you or Dom, I didn't think Louis Varland was getting traded.
Yeah. Yep.
No idea. Why would I think Louis Varland, of all people, is getting traded? So it's not just the names you think about that are free agents, but there's always some surprises out there, too, even those guys that are under team control for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what this deadline brings here at the beginning of August, and we'll see if it is a little different than last year. That's for sure. Another guy I wanted to ask you about who made his MLB debut yesterday is, and I want to make sure I'm saying his name correctly, Go out of the bullpen. For those that maybe don't know him and saw him pitch yesterday, what's the story on him?
Yeah, he was his major league debut yesterday, and a guy that the Padres signed a couple of years ago, but never made the team. He was in the minor leagues, and he got traded a couple of times, and he had this upward mobility clause in his contract that, if the Tigers, he was with the Tigers earlier this season, if the Tigers traded him, he had to go directly to the big leagues, to that team that he was traded to. So when the Twins acquired him, it wasn't like, okay, it's just a minor league trade and it goes to St. Paul. No, the clause that he had was that he had to come up, and so they'll see what they can do with him. He had some better numbers this year in the minor leagues. I think he's changed his pitch mix a little bit. Sounds like a splitter changeup was effective for him. He gave up a home run yesterday, but yeah, I just think they're trying to find some semblance of swing and miss in this bullpen. He's not a big velocity guy. He's going to be, I think, 92 to 94, but they're trying to find ways to just improve this strikeout rate that's been poor. It's not a big strikeout bullpen. It's a high walk bullpen. That's not a good recipe to hang in there. You need some more swing and miss with your bullpen, and I think they're hoping that, with the splitter changeup that Go has, he can kind of be a welcome addition to the pen in that regard, that he can provide some more swing and miss.
What's the assessment of the bullpen throughout the year so far as we sit on July 10th? How would you assess the bullpen as a whole?
It's been a weakness. I think I think the numbers kind of back that up. It's, the ERA is the highest, I think, of any bullpen in the game. And again, the troubling trends is that they walk too many guys.
Yep.
You walk too many guys, and for a large chunk of this first half, now the Twins have played more than 90 games, but we'll call it the first half because the All-Star break's coming up. Big reason why the Twins have been poor and we're playing poorly in one-run games, even two-run games, is poor bullpen numbers and bad defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you separate yourself. That's how you win those close games. Is that you have a lockdown bullpen, you're sound defensively, and if you're missing in those two areas, your way to victory is to outslug teams, and that's what the Twins have done. The strength of this team has been, yes, Joe Ryan's been phenomenal in the Cy Young conversation right now in the American League. He's been great, but the American League, the team that is leading the league in run scoring right now, the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
And I never would have thought that.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the start of the season. So they have outslugged my expectations. I think they've outslugged many of the staff's expectations, but probably not inside that clubhouse. I think those guys felt like they had a good team all along, and they've displayed that.
Absolutely. One more before I let you go. I told you off air that our crew's heading down to the game tomorrow, 1:10 first pitch for Game 2 of this series. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, the Angels are in town. They're 37-57 right now, and they're last in the West. But it sounds like Trout's going to be back. So what's the preview for the series coming up?
Yeah, they are the worst team in baseball in terms of record. They've won one game here in July. But Mike Trout is back. He missed a lot of time. He just came back earlier on this road trip, and he's going to head to Philly.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Jersey. He's a Philly guy. He's a diehard, Philly sports fan. So with the All-Star game being in Philadelphia, he's pretty fired up for that. And I'm sure Philly fans are going to go nuts for him, thinking hey, come on, waive that no trade and come join us and end your career in Philadelphia. But Joe Adell's had a good season.
Mm-hmm.
They have some good offensive players. They do. They have some really good offensive players. They can hit a little bit, but their pitching hasn't been very good. Grayson Rodriguez returns off the IL tonight. Big-time power arm with the Orioles a couple of years ago. He's had so many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And again, another injury has sidelined him for a large chunk here in the first half. Lefties have killed him. Runners in scoring position over 500 batting average against this year against Rodriguez. So I think the highlight for me is that Kurt Suzuki is coming back. And, he's managing this Angels team. He was the battery mate for Glenn Perkins for the All-Star game at Target Field back in 2014. That'll be cool. But Suzuki only got a one-year deal. Weird, right? He got a 6-month tryout for this job. And, they have a new GM. They fired their GM. John Mozeliak, the longtime Cardinals GM, is now the interim GM. They dismissed Perry Manassian a few weeks ago. So it's a season of turmoil for the Angels. They have the longest playoff drought of any team in the game, haven't gone since 14. And, so now, as we talked about earlier, Sam, take advantage. This is not a good team right now. Keep your foot down here and, take all three. All-Star break, you're over 500, which would be an outstanding outcome considering the preseason expectations, how this team was playing at various points here in the first half. If they can hit the break, a game over 500, we would have signed up for that and then some back in late March.
There is no doubt about that. Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to this. Again, the series starts tonight, 7:10 at Target Field, and you can catch all the action on Twins TV. Cory Provus joining us on Hot Mic. Cory, I appreciate your time, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Sam. Take care, buddy.
You too. Cory Provus, the voice of the Minnesota Twins, joining us on this Friday morning, chatting everything happening with the Minnesota Twins, and we'll see if they can get above 500. That would be absolutely phenomenal heading into the All-Star break. Only a matter of time. All right, time flies. We're due for another break. When we come back, we're going to continue our baseball conversation. We're going to switch from the pros, move over to the high school ranks. Jake Dangerud from Sheyenne will join us. He's got a busy summer. He'll tell us all about it when we come back.
This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back on this Friday morning edition of Hot Mic. Big thank you to Cory Provus for taking some time chatting Twins baseball with us here on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV in Sioux Falls, and KNBN in Rapid City. Speaking of Rapid City, that is where we find our next guest. He is a rising star out of West Fargo's Sheyenne High School, and he is having quite the busy summer. It's Jake Dangerud joining us here on this Friday morning edition of Hot Mic. Jake, I appreciate you getting up early over there in western South Dakota and giving us an update on what your summer has been like. First of all, tell us, what are you doing in Rapid and who are you playing with right now?
Yeah, we just got in Rapid City yesterday, played the Rapid City team, had a good battle with them, lost 4-5, ended on a game-winning play at the plate. But yeah, we play them again Saturday, and we play a lot of good teams here as well. So I'm definitely really excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, I want to talk about your Legion schedule in just a little bit, but a big reason why we wanted to have you on the show today, it was announced earlier this week that you're going to be representing Team Minnesota at the 2026 Future Games, which is down in Atlanta at the end of this month. When you heard that, what's the reaction that you had when you heard the news?
Yeah, it was a real blessing, I'd like to thank Andy Judkins, the prep baseball director, for inviting me to this camp and event. And yeah, I'm super excited to see the competition down there, and also look forward to meeting a lot of new guys in Minnesota and North Dakota.
So for those that aren't familiar with the Future Games, can you give us a rundown of what exactly that is?
Yeah, so they pick like the top people from North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota. They form a team, and we represent Team Minnesota and see a lot of good new states and those teams down in Atlanta.
So what's the process on how to get onto the radar for this? Are you going to camps, or are they just looking around and seeing your play throughout your high school career, your Legion career, whatever it may be? Can you describe that a little bit?
Yeah, so really where you get to, show your name is the prep baseball showcases.
Mm-hmm.
That's really where you get your name out, and then they also follow you a lot around your high school season. So that's really where, I got my name out.
Interesting. So I assume this is an opportunity for you to really get in front of scouts. Is that correct?
Sorry, what was that you cut out?
Oh, sorry about that. I was saying to go down to Atlanta, I assume this is an opportunity to get in front of whether it's scouts or college coaches and kind of make a name for yourself. Is that correct?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's 100+ scouts, going there, Division I, JUCO, NAIA. So I'm definitely really excited to go show my name out there too.
That's awesome. So you're in South Dakota now. You're going to go to Atlanta at the end of the month. Can you put into perspective or just tell us what a travel schedule looks like in the summer? Once high school baseball's done, I feel like you are just go all over the place. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. June was really a gauntlet for traveling. We were in Lincoln to start, then Indianapolis and Omaha. So I really have gotten used to it, over the past couple of weeks. So I feel like Atlanta is nothing travel-wise since you get to take a plane.
It seems like there's no let-up. After you guys were done with the state title game, right into it. Legion started right away. Is that fair to say?
Oh, for sure. You had no time to really feel bad about losing the state championship when you're playing with some of the guys you were competing against not even 3 days ago.
I want to talk about what you guys were able to do at the state tournament and your Legion team in just a second, but going back to this Team Minnesota that's going to be playing in Atlanta at the end of the month, you will be joined by Fargo South's Henry Schrum and also Park River's Jackson Omdahl as well. How nice is it to have some North Dakota guys with you as you travel the country here a little bit?
It's great, I talk to Schrum a lot. He's a really great guy, and I look forward to playing with him, even though we're going to be playing a state championship against each other, the week after.
So obviously he's been fun to watch. Omdahl has been great as well. Looking forward to seeing what you three can do to represent North Dakota as a part of Team Minnesota. Tell us about the Legion year. Give us an update on how you guys are doing. I saw on social media you're up to a 23-game hit streak right now. What can you say about the summer?
Yeah, so it's been like games every day. You have no time to really grieve on the past ones because there's always one coming up. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's also very good to have a 23-game hit streak, but you obviously have to look at the next days ahead. So yeah, it's been really good.
I'm going to knock on wood because I know it's never good. I don't know if you're superstitious or not, but when it comes to a hit streak of this long, what goes into that? Are you just seeing the ball really well right now?
Yeah, something just clicked and it hasn't really gone. I didn't really know I was on the hit streak until the 20th. There was an article about that. So I feel like that's probably a good thing. And me not thinking about it really works for me overall.
Well, I won't let you think about it anymore. We'll just let it come naturally. This West Fargo Patriots team, of course, we saw West Fargo dominance in the state high school tournament up in Minot just the other month. Now all of the stars from those three teams are on one Legion team. It seems like you guys are just absolutely loaded. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it really is. We 1 through 9 were like a tough lineup to get through, and even the guys who don't play, they were leading the top lineups in the state championship. So, yeah, really loaded team, really loaded pitching staff, and I'm really excited to see what we can do at the end of the year here.
What is the secret to success when it comes to baseball in West Fargo? Because West Fargo High, Horace, and Sheyenne, a team that you're a part of, all three are phenomenal. All three made good runs in the state tournament. What's the secret as to why you guys are all so good at baseball?
It's really overcoming adversity. Sheyenne here, we lost our ace, Hudson Dinger, which really hurt, and we were very low on pitching. But as we've known in previous years, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and that's what really Sheyenne has made an impact of over the past 3-4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of Hudson, he was a big part of that state tournament. As you mentioned, wasn't able to pitch, but he sure did hit the ball pretty well. This state tournament, you guys were not the highest seed out of the East. It was a really competitive Eastern Dakota Conference this year. What was the experience like for you to be able to play in those 3 games at Corbett Field?
Oh, it was very great to be a part of. The atmosphere was incredible, and I really look forward next year, Young Field, and go grab another state championship there. So we really are playing with a chip on our shoulder. Coming up here.
I'm curious about the semifinal game, and we're watching the highlight now of Hudson hitting the 2-run home run against the crosstown rival in West Fargo, Horace, and of course they have Case and Borkhardt on the mound. How fun was that game? It was a low-scoring game, but you got the win to advance to the state title game. Tell us about the semis.
So, yeah, when he hit that home run, it's like the week prior we scored 4 in the first inning of the EDC semifinals and ended up losing. So Mason Wickham really shut the door down and kept us in that game, and it was really, really cool to win that one, for sure.
I think what goes or would go unnoticed in that game is prior to Hudson's home run, you drew the walk to get on base, and if it wasn't a 2-run home run, who knows what the outcome of that game is? Is that something that you think about at all?
At the time, no, but you really think about the at-bats and how important one can be and how that can really change a game. So, yeah, I was just trying to work a walk, work a count, set it up for the next guy, and that's really what happened there.
Tell us about the state championship game. Obviously, Fargo South came away with a win, their first one since 2011. You mentioned didn't have a lot of time to process it because you're going right into the Legion season. When you look back at it, what are your thoughts on that final game of the high school year?
It's really hard to get mad at a team who had no expectations and really made a run at the end there.
Right.
But facing a really tough pitcher in Caden Nelson, who was throwing 94, it's really hard to be mad at, falling short.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys definitely put together a good effort. Caden Nelson is an unbelievable pitcher, that's for sure. And you're going to see him again next year. Does that, a loss in the state championship, does that motivate you? You're young in your high school baseball career. Does that motivate you and this young Sheyenne team to make a run at it next season?
Oh, for sure. We all know how it feels like to lose now. And as our coach Belke told us, work so hard you never feel this pain again. So that's really what we're going to do this offseason and after we win this Legion state tournament too.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can do in the upcoming year. Of course, that's not till a ways away. You got your Legion season to focus on right now. For those that haven't seen you play, how would you best describe your game out on the diamond?
Really resilient, not going to strike out, going to draw some walks, and really want to set my teammates up for success, and they're going to do the same for me. So that's really my approach coming into the Legion season and the Sheyenne one too.
You're a long ball hitter. Is that right?
Yeah, this year for sure.
Well, did something happen this year where you were able to really connect and get the ball out of the yard?
Yeah, well, I put on about 25 pounds, put on a lot of strength, and that was really like the deciding factor in long flyouts and home runs. So really, really glad I was able to hit a couple out this year.
What was the process of putting on 25 pounds? I know that's not an easy thing to do.
Oh, for sure. It's really hard, eating constantly every day, lifting every day. And it really gets to be a struggle, but you just got to shove it down, and ultimately the results will reward that.
Well, and that's exactly what they're doing. I'm curious, when did baseball become, I'm assuming it is baseball your number one sport? And when did that happen?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, ever since I was a kid, this past year I had to make a really tough decision in quitting basketball to really focus on baseball and putting on strength and weight. And really that's all.
Yeah, and obviously it's working out well for you as you go throughout this stretch, throughout your high school career and your Legion career, and what's going to happen at the end of the month here. Do you have goals for yourself on when you look at the big picture? This is what I want to do when it's all said and done with my baseball career.
Yeah, I really want to make a huge impact here at West Fargo, obviously, and play at the highest college level possible. So that's really why I'm super excited to go to these future games. And yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited to follow along and see what you can do, and also Henry and Jackson as well for Team Minnesota down in Atlanta. I know you got a game coming up today. I'll let you get ready for that. But, Jake, I appreciate you coming on this morning.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, too. Thank you.
There he goes, Jake Dangerud joining us from West Fargo Cheyenne High School and the West Fargo Patriots Legion baseball team. What an impressive player that he is. Of course, I had the opportunity to call that state baseball tournament that he was in with Cheyenne up at Corbett Field in Minot. And as I was, before going into a state tournament, you prep on the teams and everything. And this is his first year with the varsity program. And just looking at the numbers and seeing the numbers that he put up throughout the regular season going into the state tournament just blew my mind. He was batting .533, leading the way in RBI, had many home runs as well, and now you see him translate that to the Legion game. 23-game hit streak, and I think he's got 8 home runs this summer already, and that number is only going to go up, I imagine. So best of luck to him, Fargo South's Henry Schrum and Park Rivers Jackson Omdahl for making Team Minnesota, and best of luck as they go down to Atlanta for the 2026 future games. An opportunity for uncommitted players to get out in front of college coaches and see what happens from there. So it's a great chance for those three, and great chance for Jake, who's playing out in Rapid City, their Legion team going at it. I think he told me they got Idaho Falls today, who have made the World Series the last three out of the last 4 years. So we'll see if they can get a win. This West Fargo team is no slouch, that's for sure. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, want to chat about the college football video game. We haven't done it really yet today, so applaud me for that. But we're gonna continue that conversation. Then, of course, at the bottom of the hour at 10:35, Austin Clokus, a content creator, will join us and get a full rundown. That's coming up when we come back on the Hot Mic. Welcome back to Hot Mic on this beautiful Friday morning. Sam Getzinger filling in for Dom Izzo. Of course, the hot topic of conversation this week has been all about a video game, believe it or not, because North Dakota State is now officially in a video game, the College Football 27 game, and Eric's in studio with us now. Eric didn't have anything going on, so we're going to bring you in here.
Why not?
Boots on the ground, because you downloaded the game yesterday.
I did.
Is that correct? And countless hours, I assume, throughout the night playing this video game?
About an hour, just to kind of get the feel of what is it like,
Mm-hmm.
what's different compared to last year's game, just little things like that. Looking through who's all on there, seeing NDSU's on there, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Looking through the mascot stuff, which I'm kind of disappointed I did not see Thundar on there.
Well, is that part of the thing? And so we're showing video. This is you playing, is that right?
This is me playing. DJ Scott, I believe, is my running back, and he's got I don't even know. I think they just put like a random fullback in there to block.
Well, I think that's Abe Myers, who's now a tight end, might be in the fullback in the game, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a starter in the game or not. So this is video of Eric playing the game. You were actually able to screen record it and send it to us. So here's a look. First of all, before I get your impressions on the game, I got to say, I just can't believe that we are taking time in the summer to talk about a video game.
I never thought this would be
right?
This show has been Star Wars, everything else, but nothing about video games until this.
And now it's huge. And of course, it's created a lot of buzz, even in the workplace here. You got guys who haven't opened up any form of video game since Nintendo 64 was around. Hint, hint, Dom. But now he's excited. He wants to get his hands on it. And I saw on X that Mike McFeely's playing the game too, which I couldn't believe. Yeah, he bought the game.
He knows how to play in something like this?
Well, I don't know if he knows how to play, but he has it. And we'll have to ask him on Tuesday when he's in here. Your impressions of it. What'd you think of it?
I think it's pretty cool. It's very realistic.
It looks like it.
We have other video that don't, but this doesn't do it justice kind of on how realistic of a gameplay it is. And here's a passing attack. This is a part of the mini game, so the high roller stuff.
Right.
This is I believe this is part of it. I didn't look into the full high roller thing, but this is something you can do to kind of prepare, and then you see the plus 500 you roll out. If you're still in the pocket, you get a penalty, or it's an automatic sack, and you got to let your receivers get open. And right here I'm playing against Mississippi State, so you can play anybody in this game, and it's awesome. So I was kind of messing around a little bit. I played, I didn't screen record this one, but I started playing in the Play Now mode. I played Air Force.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And the triple option?
Uh-huh.
I hate that. I hated playing against them. I was a D lineman. I think I was Keenan Wilson most of the time, just trying to plug up the middle, but it was bad. It was hard.
Yeah. Well, I bet. I mean, going up against triple option, but at least now fans have the opportunity
to
see what an Air Force game would potentially be.
And I was not playing on Heisman or All-American. I just played on varsity mode, just kind of nice.
How did you do? Did you win any of these games?
I played for 15 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I need to go practice more. So I just went back out because it was I only played 5-minute quarters because you play 15-minute quarters. It takes forever. And I was like, well, it's when I started, it was 8:30 at night. And I was like, all right, I'll play for an hour.
Yep.
Just to get my feel of the game, get my feet wet. I got all weekend, even though I'm going to be busy at the Twins game. I got next week. I got time to get used to this. But, yeah, it's really cool.
Did you have the college football video games, the previous ones from the last couple of years?
So I did not, but my friends would. So I would I would go to their house and play their console, the Xbox 360s, that. I was more into the Madden. I played more college basketball than anything.
Okay. Well, interesting. They haven't made a college basketball game in years.
That and college baseball need to come back.
That's for sure. Well, my take on video games, I had the first one when it came out 3 years ago now. I bought that one. I didn't buy last year's because really there's not that much difference.
Well, I think the first year was just last year. It was just released.
No, it was 2 years ago. This is the third year, I should say.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Third year.
The first year I didn't buy it because I don't think it was worth. People were saying it wasn't worth the.
I thought it was fantastic. So I got that one. 24, Ben's telling us, was the first year. So I got that one. I didn't get 25 because there's not that much difference. But now the incentive, especially for people in our area to get this year, is because NDSU is in the game. How does the Fargo Dome look? I know that's a big topic of conversation.
It looks okay. Not
my thing, and we saw the video. I don't know if we got it back there, guys, and you can roll it. When it doesn't look bad,
it doesn't look terrible, but I think the entrances are. And I know they only had a limited time to kind of get them in the game. But the entrance, the corner, where the Bison run out and the opposing team run out, it's not the same. It's more, they have them more as an angle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not flat, flat to the wall kind of thing in the back. It's more angled a little bit, like you would see it a Viking game or something like that, where the visiting team runs out.
Gotcha.
So it's not that flat, flush sideline. And I paid attention, but I didn't get a chance to see all four corners.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have the flames going up when the players are coming out. And I know I'm not complaining because I'm sure it's going to come when they see. Because there'll be plenty of updates to this game when they see like the game on TV, be like, okay, we got to change this. We got to change this.
So you think that once they get on national television a little bit more. But it's like they had the blue and red seats. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see the blue seats. I didn't see the red ones. I saw the little tiny press box up top.
I saw in a picture someone posted that they did. I did see the tiny press box too, but they had the seats down, which I was shocked about. I didn't think they would have that. I think the biggest difference is really the jumbo boards. Up in the corners.
Jumbotrons
No,
in the middle.
there's not. But I mean, it's not the worst addition to have in the world, right? I mean, that's my. thought.
They would probably have to redo the dome a little bit to get those in there.
Yeah.
Especially like right now, it's perfect because like a punter can just boom one and not have to worry about anything. Like if he hits the ceiling, I don't know how high that is.
Well, I mean, if you hit the ceiling of the Fargo Dome, that's
a boomer,
almost impossible. So we're going to go to break here. We're going to have Austin Clokus coming on. He is a college football and NFL content creator.
And a Packer fan, by the way.
I did see that. He is a Packer guy. Do you have anything you want me to ask Austin when he comes on in a couple of minutes?
Not for the Packers,
I'll
no.
let you think about that for a little bit. But I saw on social media today, of course, NDSU is doing their High Roller Challenge, which, first of all, are you doing that?
I'm going to look into it. I'm going to try.
Trying that? I saw FIU, Florida International, is doing something similar. They're doing free club seat season tickets for the first two fans that win a national championship. That is wild to me.
That's crazy.
Would you do that?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I would try for it.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's cool that I think that colleges are starting to buy into this and kind of reward their fans. It's not costing them and the schools anything.
Yeah.
Like NDSU, it's gonna cost you whatever to fly two people to Vegas, 2 nights in a hotel, things like that. But the amount of people that are playing the game, you're gonna get the money back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in reality, it's like a positive gain, and you could have somebody from, like, let's just say Dom's dad was supposed to play. He could be playing from New York and get flown from New York to Vegas for free, and get a 2-night stay, two tickets. All that stuff.
Sounds like a good deal. Good deal. So out of 5, rank the game.
Ooh. 4.5.
4.5? That's pretty good.
I mean, I haven't played it enough to give it a full 5.
Okay.
But if you give me a couple weeks, I'll probably be able to. It might go back up into a 5. But it is very, realistic. Because I play with the, for people that play video games, know I'm talking about the vibrations on the controller when you truck somebody.
Yeah,
I play with those, and
it rattles. Okay,
it rattles. It's kind of fun.
Get me excited for that. I don't have it yet.
Do I got to bring my console in?
Bring it in. I guess not next week. We'll be gone in Vegas, but soon. Bring it in.
Do I got to bring it in and then we screen record us playing this game?
I think we do it live on Hot Mic. That would be get Dom involved. But we got to go to break because we got to talk more about this video game with a more important guest than you are. No offense. Austin Clokus will join us in just a moment here when we come back. Hot Mic returns on the other side. Final 25 minutes of the show coming your way on this Friday morning. Sam Getzinger filling in for Dom Izzo. Thanks to Eric for coming in, giving us his thoughts on college football 27 with North Dakota State in the game. But Eric's opinion is one thing. I figured to help wrap up the week, let's bring in the expert, someone who knows the ins and outs of this thing and can really give us an in-depth look at what college football 27 has to offer. And, of course, tell us about the new kids on the block, North Dakota State. Austin Clokus will join us now here on this Friday morning. Austin is a college football and professional football content creator. I appreciate you taking some time this morning and joining us. I think you're the first person with your title to join the show and actually talk about what's going on in a video game, so I look forward to that. For those that don't know you or are not familiar with your work, describe what you do and introduce yourself, if you will.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. My name is Austin Clokus. Everybody just calls me Clokus, so that's what I go by. That's where I'm at on all socials, Clokus with a C.
Okay.
And I guess, if there is such a thing as a professional college football 27 player, that would be my job description. I don't know if that's an official title, But I do make content revolving around college football 27, 26, Madden, basically any sports game. We did MLB The Show. So that's YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok is where you can find me.
Awesome. So we found the right guy. That's fantastic. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this video game because as we were talking about in our last segment, we never thought up here in Fargo, North Dakota, that we would be spending time in the summer to talk about a video game. But now that North Dakota State has made the move to the Mountain West and they're in the FBS level, this is a huge deal for a lot of Bison fans up here in this neck of the woods. Give us your impressions on the game. What are your thoughts on college football 27 right now?
I think college football 27, it's still sort of in the growing pains as a game, just like all games at launch. They have their bugs, they have their issues. As a whole, though, I would say that this is from a realistic dynasty perspective of rebuilding a team. I know there's a lot of people out there wanting to rebuild NDSU already. This is probably the most realistic experience you're going to get doing that. You have NIL that's in the game. You have athletic director expectations when you sign on to a college. I'm more of a road to glory side of things. I really like to build my own personal player. If you check out my content, that's where my player went, is NDSU. That's where he is right now. And even from that side of things, really great experience. Game looks better than ever. Again, there's still some issues we got to work out with it, but overall, not a lot of things to complain about.
Well, absolutely. I've had the first copy when it came back a couple of years ago, and it was fantastic. And I've said it on this show, just playing it when I was younger, that was a big part of the childhood. And then it went away because of NIL for a while, and now it's back. And to see what they've added is really impressive. I'm just glad it's around again. I got to ask you, did you know anything about North Dakota State before they were in this game or before they made the move to the Mountain West?
Yeah, I did actually. So one of the big reasons why I'm a North Dakota State fan is because I'm a huge Christian Watson fan.
Nice.
And obviously that's where he came from. I'm a Packers fan. I actually got to meet up with Christian a little while ago and take some pics for his youth football camp. So I got to chat with him about North Dakota State being in the game too. And getting to play with them and I would say it's so impressive because you don't see a school in the FCS have such a long list of NFL alumni. So that's a reason, and I'm not going to lie, this is maybe more of a shallow reason. I love the uniforms. I really do. And uniforms are a big pull for me. And again, as a Packers fan, you kind of have the similar colors. You got the green there. So I was familiar with the program prior to them being in the game. But when I heard you guys were moving up and as a result, we would be able to play with them in college football 27, I was elated.
How do the uniforms look in this game? We've seen some videos and everything. I personally don't have the game yet, but how do they look?
Oh, yeah, they look great. Again, I think credit to, and this is what I will say, is credit to the NDSU, their marketing team, because they've done a heck of a job, I would say, both connecting with creators prior to this game. They reached out to me. They were able to send me some stuff. They've really done an amazing job connecting with the gaming community as they're in this first game. And I saw, they posted a video with RBT and his experience with the uniforms. They looked awesome. I haven't gotten to tinker around too much checking things out, but from what I can tell, they look pretty awesome.
Okay, that's good to hear. That's great news for Bison fans because that's a big talker, is creating some new combinations because they don't like to change it up too often.
You'll be able to do that.
Exactly, which is great to hear. You can describe this better than I can. For teams that are bumping up a level and now in the game, Kennesaw State previously, Missouri State, Delaware, now North Dakota State and Sac State, to be in the game, that grows a lot of national popularity for your school without even playing an FBS game yet at this level. Is that fair to say?
Oh, undoubtedly so. I mean, and again, I think it's a big credit to the teams and their ability to take advantage of this opportunity to be in the game, because we are already seeing these teams running promotions, encouraging people to use their team in game, offering chances to win trips to a game. I'm trying to get to an NDSU game now.
I'm got to get you up here.
I got to make my way to a game. So, I think it's an unbelievable job on behalf of all these schools and their marketing capabilities. But yeah, just being in the game, you have kids that aren't super familiar with the college football scene as a whole. They're checking out these teams they've never seen before. They're like, oh, what's this team? I don't even know what this team is. This team's got sick uniforms. Let me look more into them. And as a result, it's a lot more exposure for NDSU and all these other teams you mentioned.
Well, if you want to go to a game, did you see North Dakota State put out a high roller challenge that if you complete certain events in the game, then you have an opportunity to win a couple of tickets to a matchup out in Las Vegas later on this year? Is that something that you would consider? I don't even know if you're eligible for it, but just your reaction to North Dakota State really buying in to have a challenge like that for fans.
Well, like I said, I am on YouTube, and I have been posting some videos, so there may or may not be a I try to win a trip to Las Vegas YouTube video coming out.
Okay,
down the stretch. I did see that, and I had planned to do an NDSU rebuild anyway. I don't know if I'm eligible. I don't know. Maybe it's a conflict of interest, but again, though, I think that's such an awesome thing that NDSU is doing in these other schools that are doing things similar. Just a great way to get the fans involved and to get people who might not be as familiar with the school involved in rebuilding these teams. And let me just say, I don't want to speak too much. It is hard to rebuild these smaller schools.
Yeah.
So if you're someone who likes an extra level of difficulty, a school like the Bison, that might be a team you're looking to rebuild first.
Okay, and that's one thing I wanted to ask you. Of course, this being the first year, and typically when a new team is brought in, I mean, they're one of the lowest rated teams, and there's no question about it. But now, if I'm not mistaken, North Dakota State is not. I mean, they're kind of middle of the pack, if you will. Is that surprising for an FCS team to jump into this first time and not be rated as the worst team?
Yeah, well, I think with NIL, the whole college football sphere has changed. Like, the game has changed, not just for college football 27, but for the college football scene as a whole. And that's not a hot take. That's not saying anything new, but just teams have more opportunities now to build their roster than they ever have before. And also, if you consider how well the Bison did in the FCS, I don't think it's shocking to see they would come in as a higher rated program. Still an extra level of difficulty. It's more difficult to rebuild any school in this game, but the Bison and some of those other new entries especially.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, I was telling you off air, a lot of people that I work with, and I'm sure some viewers as well, have not played a video game since the Atari was big, and now the excitement is back up because North Dakota State is in this game. For those that go out and get it and are playing a game for the first time in a very long time, what game modes do you suggest they check out?
Yeah, if you are, it just depends on what type of a gamer you are. If you like the realistic simulation, I want to be the manager of a team, I want to be the coach of a team, then I recommend Dynasty mode. Again, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but it offers you the most realistic simulation of recruiting players from high school, building up a roster, going to try to win these bowl games, try to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you're someone where you just want to mess around in these cool uniforms, then just jump into a mascot mashup or jump into a quick play game with a friend. But, again, I'm a Road to Glory guy. I have to promote my Road to Glory side of things. If you're someone where you want to be a player, hop in, build your own career, you can commit to NDSU and live out your dreams there.
So for those that aren't familiar, Road to Glory, you start out as a high school player, if I'm not mistaken, and then
that's correct,
work your way through the recruiting process and then throughout your career, and you're not automatically the top player. You have to work your way up to it. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that's going to be a hot game mode for North Dakota State fans, that's for sure. Now, we've talked about the good. I want to talk about the bad with this game a little bit, and you can explain this better, and I'm sure this is more for players that want to get into the weeds a little bit. I've been seeing a lot about this microtransactions deal. What is that, and is that impacting the game? What's your take on all this?
Right. Yeah. Well, again, I already put out my tags where you can find me. If you go to my profiles, I have a lot of videos explaining it more in depth. You'll see it on my profile because it is a hot topic issue right now with CFB players and with gamers alike. The fact is that normally when you've played in the past, you can just level up your player by playing the game. That's how you level up your player. Now, if you wanted an easier experience, there was a slider that made the game easier to level up your player. So if you wanted to, if you were a 70 overall, but you wanted to get to an 80 faster, there was a slider so that you could do that. Now, in this game, we discovered that slider is removed. There's no way to level up faster, and the only way that you can level up at a quicker pace is by spending real money to buy levels. And that is, I mentioned the Road to Glory and the Dynasty mode. That's in both of those. So if you want to level up your coach faster, you have to buy coach levels. And it's ridiculous the fact that to level up your coach from just his starting level to his max level is $100.
Wow.
And that's more than the base game. So you are spending, hypothetically, more than you're paying for the actual game just to get your coach to the max level. Now, again, do you have to buy these transactions? No, not necessarily. Right. Can you just grind and get to the level? You can, but I think something that I would point out, something I use in my videos, it's like, well, you can climb a mall escalator. You can also climb Mount Everest. Both of those things are possible. However, there's still one I would much rather do than the other because there's a significant varying level of difficulty there. So we're kind of frustrated that EA has sort of made leveling up climbing Mount Everest when it used to just be climbing a mall elevator. It was just part of the game, and now it feels like such a grind, and it does feel like they're incentivizing you to spend real money on this game.
Okay, interesting. I mean, it seems like that's been the common trend for a lot of games where you have to make in-game purchases. Is that right?
That is true, and I think that's why there's so much noise surrounding this issue, because this isn't just about college football. This is about gaming in general and the direction it's going in. And Madden comes out in 3 weeks. We're likely going to see the same additions in Madden when it launches. Right. So a lot of the creators, there's the hashtag CFB, pay, don't play, don't pay. It would be really embarrassing if I got that in the wrong order.
No,
but
you got it right.
Yeah, that's the hashtag that's going on right now. And again, a lot of these college football creators that have ties to EA are saying, like, we're not going to work with EA anymore unless these are taken out.
Okay, interesting. Well, we'll keep that in mind. I got a couple more before I let you go, and this one's for our producer, Eric, who's a big Packers guy as well. And you mentioned you're a big Packers guy. What are your thoughts on the upcoming season? How's Christian Watson and the Pack going to do this year?
Man, that is the question, isn't it? I think you look at this offseason, and I think I speak for a lot of Packers fans when I say I'm a little disappointed in the way the offseason has gone, where we've lost a lot of talent. We haven't brought in a lot of talent. I'm a little hopeful about maybe our draft. We had a good draft, Brandon Cisse. I'm very excited about seeing him in the green and gold, but you know, I'm kind of just like, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I'm a Jordan Love truther. I think as long as we have Jordan Love, we'll be okay. But, you know, I think Micah Parsons coming off an injury, Tucker Kraft coming off an injury. There's a lot of guys that were banged up. So we'll see how they look, how quickly they're able to return to form. And those are key pieces, too. So I'm just kind of I'm holding my breath. I'm hoping. I don't know what's going to happen this season, but I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Austin Clokus joining us on this Friday morning. Austin, I appreciate you taking some time. Be sure to check him out on all platforms and see the great content that he is producing. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks for joining us today. Austin Clokus here on this Friday morning. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will wrap up the week, get you into what to watch, and then we'll get out the door today. That's coming up when we return. Couple of minutes left to go on this Friday morning edition of Hot Mic. Appreciate you for joining us today. Sam filling in for Dom. Dom will be back in on Monday because next week we start a very, very busy week. We are off to Las Vegas on Tuesday, I believe, is when we're leaving for the Mountain West Media Days. We will be there Wednesday and Thursday. We'll have full coverage as to what's going on. Hot Mic will be live on Wednesday and Thursday out in Vegas as well. I'm glad we'll be in an air-conditioned space, so I'm looking forward to that. That's all coming up next week. Busy week involving North Dakota State football. A couple of minutes left to go on the show. Let's get into our what to watch for tonight and for the weekend. All right, here's what we got going on for today. The Twins, as we mentioned, will take on the Angels. That series starts tonight, 7:10. You can catch it on Twins TV. Also in World Cup action, quarterfinal matchup between Spain and Belgium. 2 o'clock on Fox. Winner advances to the next round to take on France in the semis and get one step closer to the championship. So that game is at 2 o'clock on Fox. And then later on tonight, if you want to watch some of that Summer League action, this one was intriguing to me, plus it's on ESPN. Celtics and Raptors, if you wanted to watch a little basketball and see what they're doing with the free throws and the personal fouls and what have you. For the weekend, of course, the Twins and the Angels series continue Saturday, Sunday. Both are slated for 1:10 first pitches, both on Twins TV. If the Twins get the sweep or even take 2 of 3, they'll be 500 or a game above 500, which would be huge. Timberwolves are in action on Saturday against the Nuggets, 6:30 on Prime Video. And also tomorrow, the Lynx and the Liberty are playing in the WNBA. A noon start, and you can catch it right here on WDAY. That game will be on ABC, so looking forward to that. Also, some honorable mentions in the World Cup: Norway and England at 4 o'clock tomorrow, and Argentina and Switzerland at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Both of those games are on Fox. So, plenty of stuff going on, that's for sure. And, of course, that leads us into a busy week next week, as I mentioned, with the Mountain West Media Days and, of course, Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Days as well, which we will have plenty of coverage from that. A big thank you to Cory Provus for joining us, Jake Dangerud for joining us as well, and Austin Clokus. Great to hear from them, get their thoughts on the Minnesota Twins. Jake for telling us about the Futures game that he's going to play in Atlanta at the end of the month. And, of course, for Austin joining us just a couple of minutes ago to talk about the College Football 27 video game, North Dakota State being in the game. I'm going to have to get that. That'll be my full weekend. That just might have to be the case. We'll give you an update on it next week. I think you're probably sick of hearing about it by now, but it's pretty cool. It's cool. All right, that'll do it for me. We'll see you on Monday. Dom will be back in the studio. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Have a great rest of your Friday as well.